Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Cutlery Outdoors, a K-Bar Dozier Designs in D2 Steel rendition, if you will. Before we get into it, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. That number has been decreasing, but anything above zero is unacceptable. Vets, we love you. You have a place here. We back to blue over here. We support Leo. How do you do that, Scab? Well, we don't break the damn law. And finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. So, this is the third knife that ISSAC the NOOB sent to me. And Isaac, I want to say, man, thank you so much for letting me try these out. Donnie B All-day is marching to 10,000. He's over 8,000. He tagged me in a sentimental video. Thank you, sir. That video is out. But if you're not subscribed to D-Bad, go over there and subscribe. But D-Bad made a comment on the last video, and he said, man, did the handle scales feel cheap to you? Well, honestly, I didn't think much about it because of the handle size. And I thought, well, that don't bother. And then I stopped mid-thought, and I thought, you know what? There's been several knives of another brand that I have not tried because I didn't like the way the handle scales look. So Isaac, man, thank you for sending me these, because I'm going to tell you something. I'm impressed with K-Bar folders. Now, this one is the Dozier Designs. It's got the copper blade on it, blue Zytel handle scales. It's in D2. It's a 3-inch blade. I think it's 7 and something overall. They run for about $39, $40 on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you something, son. They're worth every penny. Now, I am not now, nor have I ever been in the military. Vets are just on my heart. But somebody asked me, said, well, Scab, if you're not in the military, why are you always wearing BDUs? 2 reasons. They're comfortable, and they make my ass look good. Glad we got that done. We can move on. Let me say this about the Dozier Designs. To me, it looks, and I made this statement the other day, I'll always make some really super intelligent statements. And I said, the more a knife looks like a knife, the more I like it. And people just, okay, Scab, yeah, here goes Scab with one of them statements everybody knows. But here's what I mean. The more classic a knife looks, the more it appeals to me. Now, I like all kind of knives, y'all know that. But this knife in particular has that classic Kephart look. Now, of course, this is a folder, but I love the shape of this knife. I love the handle size of this knife. The pocket clip is barely noticeable. And now, I believe on the website I read where the edge angle on these Dozier Designs, I think we'll just call it the Dozier, is 15 degrees. So it's a very, very slicey knife. It come with a pretty good edge on it. I did do a little stropping to it before we got started. But overall, you see there we're going to do the John Peter stab test. Now, we didn't go crazy on it because, to me, this is a smaller knife. It's a good backup knife. Would I carry it? You're damn right. It's a good, in my opinion, it's a good do-everything knife for smaller tasks. Now, I'm not going to ask this knife to go down and chop up a tree. I'm not going to ask this knife to do what maybe my Raja 2 would do. This, to me, is a great secondary folder for small tasks. It's very comfortable in hand, and as you'll see throughout this video, it handled every task. Now, we do some light batoning later. I mean, very, very light. But I did that more, honestly, to check to see if it messed up the blade centering or made any blade play. None. Now, we did the John Peter stab test, and we stabbed a couple of sidewall tires. But you can see, when I say stab, it's just that quick punch. And with this, it was even smaller. Those sidewalls, those little pieces of tire, are probably 1/4 or 5/16 inch thick. That's pretty stout. So this will do whatever if you need to stab Sasquatch to get him off of you, this will do the trick. damn good blade on it. And again, I love the classic design. You barely notice it in your pocket. You really do. This is a knife, if I was going to carry to work or something like that, I'd put it in my shirt pocket just for quick access, because this is a fast, go-to, good little knife. It is a lock back. The lock seems to be very, very strong. Now, again, we're not going to stab and hold up a rhinoceros. We're not doing that. We're doing tasks that a knife should do every day. So in this video, we did a lot of whittling or slicing wood, and I don't think you can call what I do whittling. We made a few feather sticks. We cut a ratchet strap. We cut part of that sidewall of a tire. We stabbed a tire. Right here, we're going to cut some water hose. The knife is insanely comfortable. It's D2 steel, which I am a pretty good fan of D2. Easy to sharpen in the field. I love the edge angles that come with it. You can see right here, for a smaller knife, it's making pretty quick work of that water hose. Now, this is not, and somebody's like, that's not a true push test. Thanks a lot, Einstein. Appreciate your input. I went to check your video on your great push testing, and you didn't have any content. So, moving on. I'm telling y'all, Scab Petty is just right there below the surface, but we're going to leave it alone. Scab Petty's going to show up on a couple of Blade Talks. We're going to talk about monetization and other bullshit I hear people talking about that don't know what the hell they're talking about. But we're moving on. Back to the K-Bar Dozier. These little demonstrations right here with this water hose, for whatever reason, I love doing. I can't explain it to you. We'll call it a modified push test. And then I stand the water hose up and just slice it. The knife is very easy to control. You can use several different grips. Now, this one is for right hand tip up carry. It only has the thumb stud on, I believe, the left side because it's a right hand carry. But it's easy to deploy. You'll see me opening and closing it several times during the video. I like that. That is actually a little demonstration, a little test that I like to do. How easy is it to manipulate one-handed? You don't always need to manipulate a knife one-handed. I understand that. But a lot of times when you're working, you're moving, you got to get a project done, it does help to be able to do so. Right on cue, there's old Scab opening and closing. Now, with it being a lock back, there's a couple tricks you can do, but it is a good one-handed opener. We cut some rope. We cut some of that polyethylene rope. I've tried to find as many things as I could cut or slice and show y'all. Here's a zip tie test. Now, again, there was no damage to the edge. This knife held up very well. No blade play coming in. Because you do twist a little bit, you do kind of turn the knife in some unnatural ways. Nothing. The knife held up very well. I enjoyed using it all the way through. Would I recommend it? I'm going to be honest with you, yeah. And I know that, guys, a lot of times I'm way more positive or focus more on the plus sides of everything. There's plenty of channels that can tear stuff down and tear it apart, and that's their thing, and I'm not knocking them. My goal, again, for the 9 billionth time, is to show you how a knife performs in a novice's hands in everyday tasks. This goes back to when I was stripping some wire right here, and with those 15-degree edge angles, I'm going to tell you, your edge bevel, it stripped this wire really, really clean. It would have been a great knife to carry in utility location. Again, just a good little backup, but it's good for doing fine work. It's very comfortable when if you run your pointer finger all the way down to the tip and kind of hold it in your hand that way for some close-in work. You know what I'm saying? It is very, very nice. And again, right here, it just glided through. Now, I think this was an old phone cord, earphones or something. I hope those were not Megatrons, but nah, she'd use the more sophisticated ones. I think those were mine. That was brilliant. But you see how the knife has no problem going through it. And again, to Isaac the Noob. If you're not subscribed to Isaac, Isaac does an amazing job, and he's a good dude to be subscribed to. I like him a lot. He's big into history. Now, my shout outs for the day: Donnie B All-day, we done shouted him out. Joe from Steel Force and Fire. There's Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. Isaac the Noob. And then I want to start pushing Salty Red Corn. Salty's one of the most underrated knife reviewers in the game. The guy does a phenomenal job. I want you guys, I'm going to put a link in the description, and I'm dead serious. Do me one favor after this video. Go over to Salty Red Corns, even if you're subscribed. Hit his latest video that I'll put in the description. Just say, hey man, Scab sent us. We're behind you. The dude does an amazing job. He's underrated. So Salty Red Corn, Brothers of the Knives, let's get him going. Let's get over there. Thank y'all again for subscribing to the Shredders. Ezekiel is my guy. He is a rock star, and I appreciate y'all. Now, the last minute and a half. My thoughts on K-Bar folders. I'm sold. I'm a fan. I've got the BK40, and I think it's their Tactical Defense Institute flipper, K-Bar TDI flipper, that's going into the raffle. If y'all would like to see some videos on those before we do the raffle, let me know. They seem to be very well made. K-Bar just does a great job, guys. They fit well in hand. They've got decent sized blades, but their handles are incredibly comfortable. They all carry pretty well, the ones that I've demonstrated. I'm a big fan. Well, listen, right here we're going to do a few things. We're going to cut some of this rope. Now, this right here was a little deceptive. I think I about cut myself several times trying to cut this Amazon package. Now, I don't know why they made it this tough. Any other package Amazon sends, a gnat could kick through, but I guess because I'm going to use it for a demonstration, they sent me one made of Kevlar. This is one of my favorite tests right here. It's just where we slice the bottle up. The knife works well. Big fan of it. Listen, guys, my guy Mikey, whom I love, is sending me my Raja 2-back, my Raja. There will be a video coming out on it. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I love y'all. I'm Scab. You're not. And I'm gone, son.